ReadyUpLive, the year is almost over. It's almost 2016. I don't know what happened in 2015. It just went. I figured you guys would enjoy me talking about some of my favorite games released this year. Now, I think I'm going to have a relatively different list than most people you'll find online, than a lot of the top 10 lists. For starters, this is a top 5, because I'm lazy. There were some good games this year, and those were I could only fit 5 that I thought were worth talking that much about, to be honest. Otherwise, I'd be throwing stuff in there I'm not entirely passionate about. So for what it's worth, these are in no particular order, just 5 of the games I really enjoyed this year. The easy one to start it off is obviously Halo 5. Now look, sure, the campaign was mediocre, to say the least. It wasn't exactly what we expected. It did some cool things. It was a stepping stone, but it didn't blow me away. It didn't blow many people away. But the multiplayer, After playing Halo 5 multiplayer, I keep coming back to it for starters, but also trying other first-person shooters, everything feels wrong. Now, I don't normally enjoy killing people, but I enjoy killing people in video games. Halo 5 makes me love killing things. After playing Halo 5 and trying to kill things in other games, there wasn't as much satisfaction. I felt like a serial killer who just didn't get the passion from it anymore. I'm like Dexter. But Halo 5, every headshot, all of the audio, everything about it is so satisfying. It's such a well-made first-person shooter experience that it's, hopefully, more games will take note. God, I love it. It feels good. And you know, I really think that even if you're not a Halo fan, and maybe you personally just don't like Halo 5, that you're gonna have a hard time arguing that Halo 5's mechanics, the core mechanics there, aren't really good. There aren't many games you can compare it to in that sense. A lot more feels shallow and basic, where Halo 5 just feels meaty. Every encounter with an enemy in Arena or in Warzone just feels awesome. So that's Halo 5. Next up would be Rise of the Tomb Raider. Now, oddly enough, I haven't actually beat this game yet, and yet it still made my top 5 because I actually just played the last Tomb Raider game. I left it way too long and found out I loved it just before Rise of the Tomb Raider came out, so I jumped into that, fell in love all over again. It's something that it's hard to compare. It does that exploration really well. And fairly solid combat system. I like the crafting mechanics to it. There's a cool new expedition mode where it's like, time trials. Honestly, everyone, regardless of your taste in games, should play Tomb Raider. You really gotta try it. The desexualization of Lara Croft into just a pure badass is awesome in itself. To have this character that's been, thrown up as the poster child so many times of, sex in video games, to just a regular badass chick. That's awesome. Next up, we have Rainbow Six Siege.
I used to be undercover. I did time. I had to deal drugs. I even had to kill. And I was so good at it that it got me a promotion.
Now, I may be slightly biased towards this one because I've kind of been in the development process for a long time. I actually went to the Montreal studio to test out a very early alpha of the game, make some suggestions, which are actually in the full game now, super cool to see, but it's a game unlike any other. And it's funny because I hear people complaining about it who jump in, expecting Call of Duty or something, and running around, shotguns blazing, and they die, and they complain that everybody's just camping in this game. Yeah! This is a game about camping. This is what a strategy first-person shooter is. People may not be used to these strategic games, but this made the thing. This made that genre, essentially. Rainbow Six goes way back. It's always been about being super tactical. It's incredibly satisfying getting a team together and figuring out who plays who sits on which operator, and everyone, figures out their strengths and weaknesses. They work together. You have Rook throws down armor. You have Bandit putting electricity on things. It's incredibly rewarding and intense when it gets down to one player left fighting people. And all the different modes in Terrorist Hunt are awesome to see. Terrorist Hunt's always been a staple of the franchise, and now to have tons of different maps and tons of different modes. It's always different. You have defend, you have attack ones. It's super cool. Huge fan of it. Highly recommend if you're in for a little bit of a change of pace in your first-person shooter, Rainbow Six Siege. Here's another one that I held really close to my heart, and that would be Rock Band. Rock Band 4, to be specific. I've always been huge into Rock Band. Guitar Hero was cool, I had fun with it, and then Rock Band came out. It's crazy to think how long ago that was, because I remember playing with, high school friends, early high school friends. The amount of memories, the amount of inebriated, blurry memories I've had with Rock Band are awesome. There's so many of them. I love Rock Band. I'm personally a drummer or singer. Guitar doesn't really do it for me. And that's why I like Rock Band, is that I can play these different instruments and, have people tag along who are normally about the guitar. Playing with my whole family around Christmas time is so much fun. And what Rock Band 4 did, it brought it back. It was been years since Rock Band 3 that I even picked up the stuff. I threw it all away in a box somewhere, never touched it again, got kind of bored of it or whatever. 4 comes out, yeah, new console, let's do it. They made all the right upgrades. Like, there's a voting system after each song if you play it that way, so you can play the group, like especially on my family, no one can agree. My sister and I, we like more modern songs. My dad, for instance, would like old rock songs. And after each song, you can vote and decide what you want to play next, and that's super, super cool. I love that about it. And so no one can really get angry, because we're only always playing your songs. Well, it's the vote. Blame the game. Hate the game. Happy to have Rock Band back in my life. It's awesome. Now for my fifth, something completely different. A wonderful game called The Beginner's Guide.
I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever.
Now, this was made by the same guy who made the Stanley Parable, which I still consider one of the best things ever made. It's awesome. Highly recommend Stanley Parable. It's hilarious. Some of the most I've laughed at a video game. Same vein, same engine. I don't even want to say too much, but right now it's in the Steam sale on your PC. You can play with the controller if you want, plug it in. You don't really need to, it doesn't matter, but if you want to just chill. I did my first playthrough. I can't stress enough, if you are interested in game design, if you're interested in game theory, if you're interested in just doing something different, pick this game up. I had the most profound experience playing this game. I literally, when I was done it, all the way through, but even when I was finished, I was playing in my bed on my laptop, I just sat there, just reflecting upon what I did. I straight up emailed the guy who made it just to tell him how moved I was by this game. Without going into too much detail, you play a series of mini games, or levels really. Very, very basic. And I really don't want to explain much more, but it's just profound look at video game design and art as a whole. I'm seriously that moved by it, so I highly recommend checking it out, called The Beginner's Guide, on sale right now for only a few days. Make sure you pick it up. If this was in order, honestly, that would be top of my list, because it just moved me, I swear. Now, I have some honorable mentions, so maybe I could have done a top something, but nonetheless, top 5 honorable mentions. Rare Replay. It's a rare replay, we're here to say, get ready for an all-star show. This is super cool. Rare has made some of the most iconic video games ever. Banjo-Kazooie, Perfect Dark, Conker's Bad Fur Day, all on a disc. Works pretty awesome. There's also some sweet snapshots, so you can play a series of tiny little games together. Kind of seems like they took note from Halo MCC, but in smaller doses. Just awesome having this all back in one place. And talking about it right now makes me want to go finish up some old Conker's Bad Fur Day. And a second honorable mention, and this is going to be weird, but before you hate me and leave your angry comments, which you will anyway, hear me out on this one. Netflix. Yes, I know Netflix is not a game. However, it's become synonymous with gaming systems. I know so many people, gamers and non-gamers alike, who own a console, who own an Xbox One, who own a PS4, who watch Netflix on their console. It has become a staple of these devices, a staple of the living room. Being so expertly integrated into your gaming system, I have a Kinect, so just saying, Xbox pause is awesome. That's so cool to do. And especially when I have people over, I have a bunch of people, watching a movie together. Someone will say, Xbox pause. They're like, anybody want to have a bathroom break, right? No one needs to, you don't need to turn on a controller or anything like that. Super, super cool. So the reason I had that on this list is because Netflix, is just on all these game consoles and is a frequently used app on all these game consoles. The same, if not more, than games themselves. It's used so much. But it also just shows you how the landscape of gaming and game consoles has changed. Back in the days, to say Halo 2, God, that was all there was to do, was play Halo 2, was make stuff up on Halo 2, was make new games, custom games, because we didn't have anything else to do. Things are so much different nowadays. The top games can't even hold people's attention. They can't hold my attention for that long. Because there's so many other games, but then I have things like Netflix that's so easy to use. I don't have to go out and rent a movie. I don't even freaking go to a movie theater anymore. I just flip on Netflix or use the Xbox movie store, right? Something like that. But Netflix in particular, because it's so easy and it's right there. I don't just spend any money other than my monthly thing. It happens. We all have those people on our friends list who only watch Netflix. People always seem to forget to take things like Netflix into account with the changing gaming scene. So that's why I'm including it in my top games list. Top app, maybe. Sure. It's just worth thinking about how much it affects our consoles, our lives. It's fascinating to me. So there you go, guys. Almost 2016. It's been a crazy year. Thanks so much for sticking around if you're a new subscriber. Awesome to see you. I have big plans for 2016. Things are maybe going to be a little different. Halo's always going to be there. Halo's still my number one. It always will be, but we're going to play with things. I'd love to, do a little more vlogs. I'd love to just try different stuff once again. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in 2016.